What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have breaking news that has been confirmed that right now talks are taking place for the next stimulus package, and this is your stimulus check and Build Back Better update. Now, I know immediately everybody's going to ask the question, so is there going to be a fourth federal level check, and is there going to be unemployment extensions? Well, I'm going to be answering that for you in this video. We're going to be covering all the details. As yesterday, I reported it to you as soon as it came out, and then overnight we've received confirmation as more reports are rolling out, and I've got video footage for you discussing the details of what's going to be included in this next package, and we're going to be seeing how Congress responds because this is all happening due to the Omicron variant spread. Now, really quickly, take a look at this clip, and then we're going to look at some of these headlines.
Well, Kelly, I can confirm reporting from the Washington Post that there are some early discussions between Republicans and Democrats about ways to provide more aid for businesses that have been hit by Omicron. Now, according to a source, Democratic Senator Ben Cardin, the chairman of the Small Business Committee, and Republican Roger Wicker, the ranking member of the Commerce Committee, have been in talks about a package based on their bill to provide another $50 billion for restaurants.
So there you have it, you guys. And I want to point out something that I think is very important that we just heard in that clip, and that is this has bipartisan support. Democrats and Republicans are both getting on board saying we might need another stimulus package. Now, of course, not all the Republicans you're going to see here in a second are on board, but you don't need all of them. You just need bipartisan support enough to pass this through with legislation. And this is very similar to what we saw when the pandemic first started. We had bipartisan support back then for the first phases of stimulus provisions that went out. And that first stimulus check went out in what was known as the CARES Act, which was phase 3. Previous stimulus provisions went out in the first two phases, and then they sent direct money to people with bipartisan support. And right now, what we're seeing is very similar. They're starting to agree that right now we are facing an issue with this Omicron variant, and they're saying we have bipartisan support to send out another stimulus package for businesses. And depending on how things go with the Omicron variant, we could see following phases happen. And I would not be surprised if direct payments to people in some form was put back on the negotiating table. Now, we will see. This is all speculation, and we're going to be seeing what unfolds. But you guys, this is very similar to what we saw before. Now, take a look at these headlines coming out confirming this. This one came out yesterday, another round of pandemic stimulus. And this is all due, like I said, to the Omicron variant. And take a look at where it's at. It has not been this bad since the pandemic started. Over 700,000 cases reported yesterday. We broke 1 million a couple days ago, and the 7-day moving average is almost at 600,000 per day. Here's another one I shared with you yesterday. Omicron has lawmakers talking about another stimulus round for businesses. So just to clarify, at this time, this package they're discussing is focused on businesses, but we might see subsequent ones follow. Take a look here, you guys. Stimulus checks for restaurants and gyms. 2 U.S. senators had big plans, and I'm going to be sharing with you the video clip here in just a second that's going to clarify. Take a look. Fourth stimulus checks not expected as federal government grapples with the Omicron surge. In this current one, the focus is businesses, but we will see what follows. So you guys, I'm going to dive into the video footage and a little bit of these articles, get you caught up on the latest, but also wanted to say that the second channel is going to be launching Steve Ram Finance. I'm going to be releasing that first video, and I'm going to be discussing when I started my journey to financial freedom several years ago, what I was told by a multimillionaire who I sought out. And I asked him, how do I become financially free? And he gave me some advice, and he said, I'm going to teach you the secret to becoming financially free. There are 3 main things that all wealthy people focus their time and attention on. And if you do so, you will become financially free. And I listened to what he had to say, did what he told me to do, and it worked. And I'm just going to share this with you in this first video. I hope it's going to be blessing a lot of people. If you're interested in seeing that and joining that channel, Steve Ram Finance, I'm going to pin a comment down below. All you got to do is click the link, go subscribe, and turn on notifications. Planning on launching that here very soon, you guys. Just working out all the details. Getting sick kind of set me back a little bit, but I'm going to get that here going very soon. But you guys, let's dive into the latest on economic news for you, and let's start off by smashing the like button. Just takes a second, helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you'd like to stay up to date, come join the Ram fam. Totally free to do so. All you got to do is smash that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is shoot me a DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in as we're hearing we have bipartisan support for more stimulus. All right, guys, so we're going to be taking a look at the video footage here in just a second, but first want to read to you this article from Yahoo Life just very quickly that says, as the Omicron variant of the pandemic drives up record surges in cases, some members of Congress have held early discussions about another round of economic stimulus. So this is prompting new discussions. Take a look at this. The efforts are currently focused primarily on authorizing billions of dollars to help an array of businesses, including restaurants, performance venues, gyms, and even minor league sports teams that face another potential blow to their already battered balance sheets as a result of the evolving pandemic. So you guys, that is kind of summarizing what is happening right now. And let's take a look at the video footage of what's being reported taking place right now in Congress about more stimulus packages, and we will see if other phases start to follow. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Well, Kelly, I can confirm reporting from the Washington Post that there are some early discussions between Republicans and Democrats about ways to provide more aid for businesses that have been hit by Omicron. Now, according to a source, Democratic Senator Ben Cardin, the chairman of the Small Business Committee, and Republican Roger Wicker, the ranking member of the Commerce Committee, have been in talks about a package based on their bill to provide another $50 billion for restaurants. Now, the Post reported that the total price tag for additional relief could be about $68 billion. Meanwhile, there's been an ongoing push in the House from about 60 lawmakers from both sides of the aisle to help not just restaurants, but also gyms and hotels as well. Minnesota Democratic Representative Dean Phillips is spearheading that effort. And in a letter to leadership, he wrote, tens of thousands of small businesses across the country are faced with the possibility of layoffs, reduced service or hours, or outright closure, barring additional federal relief. But already, key Republicans are throwing cold water on this idea. GOP Senator John Barrasso sent us this statement: we need to fully open our economy instead of passing the buck and calling for more taxpayer bailouts. Now, some lawmakers had originally hoped they could attach this aid to the bigger social spending package, Kelly, but now that's going nowhere, so they're looking for other ways to keep this alive. Back over to you.
Which is interesting because, number one, I don't know if restaurants ever got the direct aid they've been pushing for. Number two, this is more a casualty of the Build Back Better plan dying than it is the spread of Omicron. And number three, is any other industry currently being targeted for relief at this point?
These are the only ones we've heard of so far, Kelly. The idea around this package, if it were to come to fruition, would that it'd have to be pretty narrow in order to get both Democrats and Republicans on board. You heard the argument there from a member of GOP leadership saying, this could contribute to increased inflation. So I think the desire would be to keep it pretty targeted and not include some of the other measures like the child tax credit or stimulus checks that have been the hallmark of the previous COVID relief packages.
Have restaurants or gyms received direct relief up until this point of the pandemic?
The best that I understand, Kelly, is that some of them have, but not all of them either qualify. Some of the money dried up very quickly, especially for the restaurants, I believe, and for some of the live entertainment venues. So the funding maybe didn't quite trickle down to all the folks who needed it. And so there's been this effort to re-up some of those programs. And certainly some of the funding could be unused COVID relief money that was dedicated to other sectors that they might be able to repurpose. Some of it might be new funding altogether.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, what's very interesting about all this is that it is bipartisan. And we heard her say that they got to keep it very narrow and focused to maintain that. Like we saw originally in the beginning of the pandemic, Democrats and Republicans both getting on board to pass through legislation. Now, all of the other stimulus provisions, like we had heard, the child tax credit, stimulus checks, unemployment extensions. We currently, at this time, don't have bipartisan support on that. They have to pass it through the process of reconciliation, which is Democrats that hold the majority in all of Congress have to agree to push that through. However, if things start to ramp up even more so and things get worse with this Omicron variant, we could see if opinions start to change on the need for more stimulus. And you guys, whatever unfolds here on the channel, I will be sure to keep you up to date and let you know what's happening. But you guys, that is the latest that has unfolded. And as more comes out, like I said, I'll keep you up to date. Thank you so much for joining me. That is the latest. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, smash that like button if you appreciate the updates. Just takes a second. Helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you'd like to learn about growing wealth and personal finance and see those videos I'm going to release on the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, consider joining that channel as well. And if you want to get a hold of me directly, I'm easy to get a hold of. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, I hope this reaches you well. I will catch you in the next video and keep you up to date on everything going on. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.